Members of the jury, look, I know I'm not supposed to speak to you before the case, but I just need you to know I am not a murderer. And this is all some sort of crazy mix-up. I was traveling from New York to Miami when I stopped in this little town, Berserksville. Big mistake. Turns out there's a murderer on the loose with the same color pickup truck as me, and now I'm a prime suspect. I'm so nervous, I haven't even met with my lawyer. You're not my lawyer, are you?
Oh, Tracy?
Casey.
Right. Casey. I'm Mr. Fops. Oh, I'm sorry. Sometimes I just, I get a little bit, I'm sorry.
You seem pretty disorganized.
Sometimes, because
Look, all I care about is if we're just gonna win the case.
Yes, I have full confidence in this case. You have a solid alibi, and there's no way you'll lose. Just as long as there's not.
Who's Mr. Scammerton?
Oh no. This is horrible.
Why? Who is he?
He's the best prosecution attorney in the whole state. He's never lost a case.
He's really that good?
The best.
Well, I mean, I am innocent, so it should be that hard to prove, right?
See, Mr. Scammerton doesn't really play by the rules.
Who's ready to win a case today? Because I ate some victory O's for breakfast with a tall glass of self-esteem, and I am ready to fight. It's the eye of the tiger, it's the thrill of the fight, rising up to the challenge of our rivals.
And who are you?
Me? I am a winner. I'm an unstoppable force. I am
Mr. Scammerton?
in the flesh. And I'm guessing you are the defendant?
Yeah, look, I just wanted to
Psych! Here's a tip for you, kid. Trust no one.
Not even my lawyer?
You really want to trust that?
Hey, I may not be that...
Look, I just wanted to tell you I really am innocent. They grabbed the wrong person and I just...
Yeah, that all sounds like a personal problem to me. Look, I don't care if you're innocent or guilty. All I care about is winning. I haven't lost a case and I don't plan on starting today.
You would really send an innocent person to prison just for the sake of winning?
Yeah.
How could you?
Look, you really shouldn't fear failure. It's silly to fear the inevitable.
I can't believe you. You're part of the justice system. You're supposed to care about truth and liberty and...
Yeah, look, you better get ready because by the looks of your team, you're gonna need it.
All rise for the Honorable Judge Falter.
Thank you. You may be seated. This court's now in session.
Case number 19-1465, the people of Berserksville versus Casey Lissett for the murder of Greta Feta, Heather Jackson, and Bree Cartage is now in session.
Is the prosecution ready?
Born ready, Your Honor.
Is the defense?
I guess, Your Honor.
Okay. Prosecution, your opening statement.
Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, what I want you to do is close your eyes with me and imagine a murderer. Picture a woman, maybe 5'3", maybe 5'4", depending on the shoes she's wearing. Wearing a blue blouse, some glasses, brunette hair that fades to blonde as it goes out. Now, I would like you to open your eyes. And doesn't that description look a lot like this woman right here?
Objection, Your Honor. He is clearly just describing my appearance.
Shh, overruled. Keep going, Mr. Scammerton.
Now, I would like to be known as a fair lawyer, a just lawyer. I don't want to show bias towards the things that often divide us as people. Things like gender. Gender is often something used to discriminate in the workplace, but not by me. I want equality across the board. Anyway, I trust that you, the jury, will come to the decision and provide the right verdict. You all look like an intelligent group of people, very knowledgeable. One might say you're even a bunch of smarties. Here, why don't you have some on behalf of me, the prosecution? Here you go. Let's just make sure those get passed
Objection,
around.
Your Honor. He is literally bribing the jury with candy. There's no way that's
Hold
allowed.
hold on. Can I have one?
Yeah, sure.
That's fine, overruled.
This is insane. He's going to win because you'll let him do whatever he wants.
Order in the court. Now, continue, Mr. Scammerton.
I'm inspired by great leaders. Abraham Lincoln, Martin Luther King Jr., Kanye West. All people who will be remembered throughout history who have touched America. I'd like to think I also impact America one case at a time by keeping sickos like Casey Lissett off the streets and behind bars. Does that make me a good person? A saint? Why, yes, it does. But I remain humble. Humble is my middle name. Actually, it's Cedric, but that's beside the point. I am so humble that if they held Humble Awards, I would totally win. I mean, like, it would be a huge affair, but I'd blow it off like it was no big deal, because that's the kind of person I am. The point is, I am the good guy here, and they, Casey Lissett and Mr. Flops, they are the ones corrupting society. A vote for a guilty Casey is a vote for a safer world. Thank you. Try and beat that.
Defense, your opening statement.
The reason that my client Macy,
Casey.
right, Casey, that Casey Lissett is guilty is that she, wait a minute, not guilty, I meant not guilty. Can I start over?
No.
Okay. Oh, you've got this, Gregory. Despite what Mother says, you can be a winner. You will not be a disappointment. Not this time. Casey Lissett is not guilty. It's as simple as that. She was nowhere near any of the scenes of the crimes whenever they happened. But you know what? She was in town for the most recent murder. And I guess if you really think about it, she could have driven back for the other two, so.
No! What are you doing? You're supposed to be defending me, not helping the prosecution.
Yeah, I don't need your help. But I mean, if you want to run your case from the ground, that's totally okay too.
Look, I know Mr. Scammerton, okay? I may not be as put together as Mr. Scammerton, all right? I may not have talent or charm or a law degree.
Wait, what?
But you know what? There is something that I do have. And that is the thing that I have. Oh, I know I wrote it down here somewhere. Well, I do have something. I can't find it right now, but it's a real competitive edge, I'll tell you that. Thank you.
Would the prosecution like to call their first witness?
Yes, the first witness the prosecution would like to call forward is Casey Lissett.
Wait, me? Can you call me up?
I'll allow it.
Come on, Casey, step right up.
Oh no, I know my rights. I do not have to testify against myself.
Party pooper?
What did you just call me?
I believe he called you a party pooper.
I am not a party pooper.
Look out, guys, we got a real Debbie Downer on our hands.
I am not a...
Then you wouldn't mind answering a few questions, would you? I mean, if you're really as innocent as you say you are, that shouldn't be a problem, is it? I'll tell you what, you can even stay in your chair right there if Judge Falter will allow it.
I'll allow it.
Fine.
Raise your right hand. You swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth?
I do.
Now, most murderers won't just fess up to their crimes. But
am-
I am an expert. I spent years in law school and have been practicing for a good amount of time now. I'm a seasoned veteran. I know the ins and outs of the courtroom, and over the years, I've developed the skills, the sophisticated tactics it takes to get through to a criminal. Julie Burst say what?
What?
That's all we needed to hear. No further questions, Your Honor.
Would the defense care to cross-examine?
I don't know if I can come up with anything after that.
Yes, you can. Question me.
I don't have a paper for this.
Just ask me questions.
Okay. So what's your favorite color?
Questions about the murders, Mr. Flops.
Right. So why'd you do it?
I did it. You're my defense lawyer. You should know that.
Oh yeah. So, why didn't you do it?
Because I'm not even from here. I was just driving through town when I got stopped and arrested. I mean, there's no evidence that I'm the murderer, except I apparently drive the same kind of truck as the murderer, but anyone can have a white pickup. I'm not from here. I have no idea who these people are. Why would I want to kill them? I have no motive.
Objection! I want that stricken for the record.
On what grounds?
Honestly, those are just really good points, and they don't help my case. So I want them stricken from the record.
Okay.
Wait, what?
Well, you gotta admire his honesty.
But you don't have to.
Hey, don't argue with me or I'll hold you in contempt of court. Now, continue, Mr. Flops.
So, you had no motive to kill any of these people?
No, like I said, I don't know any of them. I have no... I have no...
So tired.
I'm sorry, Mr. Scammerton. Am I boring you?
Oh, don't mind me. I'm just patiently waiting for my turn to redirect.
So I would never... You know what? I think we're done.
No further questions, Your Honor.
Would the prosecution like to redirect?
Oh, well, I mean, I guess if they've already finished, I guess I could ask them something else. Ms. Lissett, haven't you couldn't have, not even two, shouldn't have, not wouldn't have, could not even, couldn't have been the murderer?
I don't understand the question.
It's a simple yes or no question, Ms. Lissett.
Well, I don't want to accidentally admit to being a murderer.
You know who else wouldn't want to admit to being a murderer?
Who?
A murderer.
Do you have any real questions for me?
No, I'm known as a pretty reasonable guy.
I thought you were asking me questions.
I'm getting there. I'm not known to exaggerate or blow things out of proportion, but this person has to be one of the most atrocious, despicable human beings to ever walk the face of the earth, ever. And yes, I am including people who pour milk into their bowl before their cereal. Yes, she is that bad.
I am not
Now, how am I to possibly try and reason with someone so off-balanced, so deranged? How could I question someone?
This is ludicrous. I'm not crazy or deranged.
Someone who does not know how to sit and listen while I ask questions. So, I have no further questions for Ms. Lissett, and it is not because when I was feeding the ducks in the park, I accidentally fed them this part of my notes.
Why would you even...
But because she is simply too unstable to answer anything truthfully. No further questions, Your Honor.
Would the defense like to redirect?
Yes.
No, Your Honor.
Very well then.
Mr. Flops, why didn't you redirect? They could have heard more of my side of the story.
I didn't have any questions written down either, but I didn't have as cool of an excuse as Mr. Scammerton did.
Does the prosecution want to call its next witness?
Yes, Your Honor. The prosecution calls Penny Fadson to the stand.
State your name for the court.
Penny Fadson.
Do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Please restate your name for the court.
Penny Fadson.
And what do you do for a living, Miss Fadson?
I'm a blogger.
What do you blog about?
I blog about blogging about other blogs.
And what is your relationship to the victim, Bree Cottage?
I knew Bree Cottage from blogging. When 3 days had gone by and she hadn't posted anything, I knew something was up.
So what did you do?
I went to her favorite places looking for her. The Riverwalk because of its aesthetics, and the coffee shop on the corner because it's hashtag delish. But I ended up finding her in the park.
And how was she when you found her?
She was totes dead.
How did she die?
It looked like she was strangled to death.
Strangled to death. May the jury note that the defendant, Casey Lissett, has 2 hands, perfect for strangling.
That's ridiculous. Everyone has 2 hands.
The jury also note that the defendant discriminates against amputees and those born without arms. Now, how did that death affect you, Ms. Fatson?
The whole thing was just #tragic. Great for blogging, though. I got a lot of hits from that. Actually, can you stand still for a sec so I can take a pic? Murder trials are totally trending right now. Perfect. They'll love this on the internet.
Now, what I have here is some hardcore photo proof from the scenes of the crime. To those of you who may be a little bit more squeamish, you may want to look away.
Photo proof? That's a grand drawing.
Okay, you've got me. Believe it or not, these are actually drawings I drew from the scene of the crime.
Really?
But it's so realistic.
What are you talking about? It's clearly
A masterpiece? Yes, we know that, Casey, but really, we must focus on the case. Now, Miss Fatson, does this drawing accurately depict what you saw at the scene of the crime?
It does.
Isn't it great? I think I did an especially good job with the shading and the color,
I thought we were focusing on the case, Mr. Scammerton.
This next one is a close-up on the neck, and I warn you, there is a little bit of blood and gore, so once again, you may want to look away.
This might be too graphic for the courtroom.
I don't know if I can take this. This is too much like the actual thing. I can't even.
I think I might faint.
What are you talking about? It's just a squiggly line with some red scribbles.
What are you talking about? This is true art.
See, thank you.
Whose side are you on anyway? And I mean, come on, the things are labeled so you know what they are. Otherwise, they'd just be a wavy line and some red scribbles. And you guys can't be taking this seriously, can you? I mean...
Hey, the jury is a noble and sensible bunch. They are intelligent and strong-willed. Not to mention a great-looking group of people, if I may say so myself. So, of course, they know the difference between what is right and wrong, between what is legitimate evidence. So then, naturally, when approached with evidence such as this, they would take it as
Not
something...
seriously. They won't take it seriously.
As legitimate evidence. Wait. Not take it seriously. How could they not?
How could they? I
Well,
mean,
if you haven't been convinced already, then this will show you for sure that... Oh, this is actually some turkeys I drew the other day.
Lovely turkeys.
Very well drawn.
I want to do this series of drawings of groups of animals. I call it Beasts Running Wild. I started with this one of the turkeys, and it turned out great. But with the case and everything, it's all I've had time to do. You know, I always wanted to be an artist, but my dad said no. He insisted I become a lawyer. There's no future for artists in this country, he said. Lawyers will make much better money, he said. You need to think practical, he said. Well, you know what? What if I don't want to think practical? What if I want to follow my heart? Some of us still have dreams, Dad. No further questions, Your Honor.
Would the defense like to cross-examine?
We would, Your Honor. Ms. Fadson, did you see the person who strangled Bree Cottage?
No, I did not.
So you had no real way of knowing who killed her?
No. But I'm getting this vibe that it was her.
Fair enough.
what? No, that's not fair enough. This is a court case. We need to go off of cold, hard facts, not vibes.
I'm getting the vibe you woke up on the wrong side of the bed this morning, didn't you?
It's all in your aura. I can see it from here.
Let's look at the facts. You didn't see me. You can't prove it was me.
Yeah, but it is in your aura.
As we all know, you can't fake an aura.
No further questions, Your Honor.
Would the prosecution like to redirect?
No, I'm good, Your Honor.
Would the prosecution like to call forward its next witness?
We would, Your Honor. The prosecution calls Glenda Chatter to the stand.
State your name for the court.
Glenda Chatter.
Do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Please restate your name and occupation for the court.
Glenda Chatter, town gossip.
Wait, your occupation is town gossip?
I am the ears of the town. Nothing happens without me hearing about it.
So, what's the news?
You want to know the lowdown? The word on the streets?
Yeah, what's the word?
Well, I know this guy. Who knows this guy? Who knows this guy's podiatrist? And here's what I heard. If you go down to the lower eastern west side of town and turn into the third alley you see, not the one with a dog that knows how to play the harmonica, but the next one, and go into the back of the building with no windows, the one that vaguely reminds you of a low-budget horror movie, at the door will be a one-eyed, three-armed man named Ambiguous Pete, who will give you a very indifferent answer on whether you can enter or not. Enter anyway, and if old Pete gives you any trouble, ask him about his childhood, because confrontation is his biggest fear. Well, right after snakes and losing a game of Monopoly, of course. Once you get inside, you get this weird feeling, like when you see your teacher outside of school, or find out one of your friends is distantly related to Henry VIII. But don't let this stop you, and you will find a woman with her fingers superglued together and bright blue eyebrows, but not above her eyes, sitting in a corner. Tell her the geese fly south in the winter. It's time for them to come home. She will nod, and that's when you can get your Michael Jackson CDs.
What? This was about getting Michael Jackson CDs? This isn't even relevant to the case!
Oh, Michael Jackson is always relevant. He is the king of pop and one of the world's greatest entertainers.
So beat it! Just beat it!
Wait, you're singing now?
Michael Jackson, 1958 to 2009. Rest in peace.
What is going on here?
Can you have some respect?
You really do belong in prison if you don't even have respect for the king of pop.
Can we please just get back to the case?
Fine. If you want to brush aside the more important things in life, I guess I could ask more questions. What else do you know, Miss Chatter?
Well, I heard from my brother, who heard from his barber, who heard from his local bar mitzvah coordinator, and here's what I know. Far, far away from here, like 2 miles, there will be homeless Joe, who sits under the bridge. He will ask you a riddle. Try and answer correctly, but if not, Joe doesn't have much motivation in life, and he's a huge pushover, so he'll let you cross anyway. You will then go over the river and through the woods until you see a blue chicken. When
The murders! What do you know about the murders?
I was getting there.
Were you really?
No.
There were 3 murders, Miss Chatter. Bree Cottage, Pepper Jackson, and Greta Feta. Do you know anything about these murders?
Murder. Oh, yes. I know lots about murder. This guy dies in this huge stampede, right? Looks like an accident. Only the son thinks it's all his fault. But really, it was the dad's brother's fault. He framed the whole thing so he could get the family power. So the son runs off and becomes friends with a warthog and a meerkat, and
Are you
then...
just telling the plot to the Lion King?
Well, there's this other family, right? Mom, dad, and a whole bunch of kids. Only one night, the mom and most of the kids all die, leaving the dad with just one kid who has a physical disability. Because of the past, the father was always overprotective of his son. Only one day, the son got lost, causing the father to go on a wild journey to go find him, joined by a woman with short-term memory problems.
That's
and...
Finding Nemo.
Well, okay, but get this. There's this pig, right? And his owner leaves him on a farm because she can't take care of him anymore. But then there's this spider who's helping him, writing in her web and creating all
That is the plot to Charlotte's Web, and no one's even murdered in that movie. Charlotte just dies.
Spoiler alert! Miss Chatter, it doesn't seem like you actually know anything that's vital to this case.
Well, sometimes no.
No further questions, Your Honor.
Would the defense like to cross-examine?
We would, Your Honor. So, how does Finding Nemo end?
Mr. Flops,
What? I'm just curious. I've never seen the movie before.
we're finished, Your Honor.
Would the prosecution like to redirect?
We're finished, Your Honor.
Does the prosecution have any more witnesses?
We do, Your Honor. The prosecution calls Clarissa Vender to the stand.
You swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Please state your name for the court.
Clarissa Vender.
And what is your profession?
I own a business. Don't have a cow, cow removal services.
Cow removal service?
That's right. You've got the calf, we've got the moving staff. Don't have a cow. That's 1-800-555-6433.
And what is your relationship to any of the victims?
Pepper Jackson was my neighbor across the hall in our apartment building. And also a supporter of my business. Don't have a cow. You've got a cow. We can take it now. 1-800-555-6433.
And what do you know about the murder?
Well, the night of the murder, I was sitting in my apartment thinking about my business. Don't have a cow. You've got steer. We can take it from here. I actually have some business cards. Hang on. Don't have a cow. Cow removal services.
Ms. Vender! Just tell us about the night of the murder, please.
Well, I was sitting in my apartment when I heard someone walking down the hallway. I thought it was someone coming to talk to me about my business. You've got beef, we've got the movers you need. Don't have a cow. 1-800-555-64.
Miss Bender, no advertising of businesses will be tolerated from this moment forward.
Then what's the point of being a witness?
To help put that one behind bars.
I am not given.
Now, Ms. Vender, please just tell us about the night of the murder of Pepper Jackson.
So I was across the hall.
Was your door open?
Yes, both of our doors were open, but I hadn't seen her for a while.
Had you heard anything?
Not really. I crossed the hall and saw her sitting in a chair. I shook her a few times, thinking she was unconscious, until I saw the stab wounds.
So, to recap what you're saying, you both were in your apartments, and your doors were open. You hadn't crossed paths that night, and you hadn't heard anything. So, you crossed to her room, and you saw her sitting in the chair. So you shook the body, and bam, you saw the stab wounds.
No. That's not what happened. This is how it went down. So we were both in our apartments, and yes, both of our doors were open, but I had seen Pepper Jackson earlier that day. I just hadn't seen her prior to the murder. And then I heard something, and then I heard a scream, which is why I went over to her apartment. She was sitting in a chair. I shook the body, and then I saw the stab wounds.
Wait, hold on.
Wait a minute.
Look, it's all very simple. We were both in our apartments, but both of our doors were open.
And your paths had crossed earlier that day, but not near the time of the murder.
Yes. And then I heard something, and then I heard a scream, so I went over to her apartment, and she was sitting in a chair.
So you shook her to see if she was still alive.
And bam! That's when I saw the stab wounds on her.
How is this court even real?
I think we all understand very clearly what happened now. Thank you, Ms. Vender. No further questions, Your Honor.
Would the defense like to cross-examine?
Yes, we would.
We would? Oh, we would. We would, Your Honor. So, you're a witness to the murder of Pepper Jackson?
Correct.
Now, did you actually see the murderer?
No, I did not.
So, you have no way of knowing if Casey is the murderer.
I suppose not.
No further questions, Your Honor.
Would the prosecution like to redirect?
We would, Your Honor. Now, Ms. Vender, you have not seen the murderer, so it could be anyone in the world, correct?
That would be so.
And because of that wide possibility, we cannot rule out Casey listed as the murderer, correct?
That would make sense.
No further questions, Your Honor.
Does the defense want to redirect?
No, Your Honor.
You're excused.
This is insane. None of these witnesses are legitimate. They either didn't see the crime or just totally unqualified. None of these witnesses should be taken seriously.
Would the prosecution like to call its next witness?
We would, Your Honor. The prosecution calls Professor Puffle to the stand.
A professor? Huh. I mean, that does seem rather professional. I trust the word of a... Why is Professor Puffle holding a lamb?
That's clearly a llama.
That llama is Professor Puffle.
What? You can't have a...
Professor Puffle was in the room during the murder of Pepper Jackson. She saw the entire thing. Who could be a better witness?
Oh, I don't know. A human being?
Would you hush up? It is my turn to question.
Do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Professor Puffle, you were there on the night that Pepper Jackson was murdered, correct?
It's not going to answer you.
Give her some time, please. This was her owner, her very best friend, who she witnessed being killed. This is a very emotional time for her. Give her some space.
You can't honestly expect it to talk, can you? It's a llama. It doesn't matter.
Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, what I want you to do is look hard at this poor creature, this poor orphan creature. She no longer has a place in this world to call her own. Her owner, no, her mother, tragically killed before her eyes. Who could murder someone is one question, but who could murder someone in front of such an innocent, helpless animal? We've seen Casey Liss's intolerance for this beautiful, adorable little creature. Oh, she has no regard for her feelings. Doesn't matter, she says. Just like it wouldn't matter as she is murdering her owner right in front of her eyes. I'm not sure how she sleeps at night, knowing this little creature has to live with all of this trauma from her llama mama. Oh, the trauma. No further questions, Your Honor.
Would the defense like to cross-examine?
I mean, I guess. So it wasn't really that traumatizing to watch Casey murder your owner, was it?
No, I didn't kill anyone.
Right. So llamas don't have very good eyesight, do they? Is it possible that you saw someone else? Should I take that as a yes?
You should definitely take that as a no.
Oh, okay.
No, you should have just left them.
I guess I have no more questions then.
Would the prosecution like to redirect?
Just one more question, Your Honor. Professor Puffle, I know we've had our difficulty communicating here,
Say.
but I would like to ask you a question in the simplest form. Nod your head if Casey Lissett is the murderer. Did you see that? A witness identification, a solid case. We might as well lock her up right now.
How can you possibly think that?
Order in the court. Now, continue, Mr. Scammerton.
That will be all, Your Honor.
Would the defense like to redirect?
No, Your Honor.
You're excused.
I think this is a good time for a music break.
Music break.
Oh, this one's a classic. You'll love it. There was a girl who was guilty, and Casey was her name. Oh, C-A-S-E-Y, 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 and Casey was her name. Oh, come on, you all know the words. Come on, do it on in. There was was a girl who was guilty, and Casey was her name. Oh, C-A-S-E-Y, 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 and Casey was her name. Oh.
What are you doing? You're supposed to be on my side.
It's just so catchy.
That's it. You're fired.
Fired?
That's right. I don't need someone who can't remember what side they're on.
Well, then good luck against him. You're gonna need it.
So, you fired your lawyer. That's a pretty bold move.
Well, he wasn't any help.
You know what? You caught me in a good mood, and since I'm so far ahead, I'll give you a few tricks.
Really?
Yeah. Now, these are the most important rules when it comes to the courtroom. Rule 1, never let them see you cry. Rule 2, show no mercy. Rule 3 is have fun and be yourself.
Prosecution would like to call forward their next witness.
We would, Your Honor. The prosecution calls Alberta and Arminta contrary to the stand.
You swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Please state your names for the court.
Well, I'm Alberta Contrary, and that is my twin sister. I'm sorry, I'm Arminta. That's Alberta. Twins.
And you two were witnesses to the murder of Greta Feta?
Yes, sir.
Please share with us what happened.
Well, we were driving down Main Street, me and my sister here, listening to the radio and jamming out when I see something on the side of the road. At first, I think it's just an animal, like some roadkill. But then I look closer and I see a jacket and I'm like, who threw a bundle of clothes on the side of the road? Am I right? But then I look closer and I see hair and I'm like, hold on, I've got to see this. So then we get out of the car to look and it's a dead body. How freaky is that? Am I right?
Alberta, is that what happened?
No.
Oh, would you like to share with us what did happen then?
Not that. Look, yes, it did. Remember? We were both super freaked out. Yeah. We got out of the car and we saw the dead body and we're like, OMG. Yeah, like a real dead body, just right there on the road. And then we called the police. No, we didn't. Yes, we did. That is what happened. We got out of the car, we saw his body, and they called the police. No, we didn't. Yes, we did. Did not. Did too. Did not. Did too.
Look. Are you two going to agree on one final story?
Yes. No.
Having both of you witness at the same time is not going to be a problem, is it?
No. Yes.
Look, I'm going to get straight to the point. Did either of you see anything to lead you to believe that Casey Lissett was the murderer?
Well, it looks like the dead body was shot.
Do you own a gun?
You can't ask me anything. I'm not on the witness stand.
Let the jury know that the defendant refuses to confirm or deny owning a gun. Although if you ask me, I think she's hiding something. No further questions, Your Honor.
That's your whole questioning? The fact that I may or may not, which I don't, by the way, own a gun? How could you
Would
possibly?
the defense like to?
This is ludicrous. How does this even?
That's it. You've lost your chance to cross-examine. You're excused.
That's the problem. There's no order in this court. You can do anything, and there's no order in this court. I can do anything.
Does the prosecution have any more witnesses?
We do, Your Honor. The prosecution calls Alice Maniacal to the stand.
Do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Can you please state your name for the court?
Alice Maniacal, former soldier of the battle at Maple Hill.
And would you please tell us your relationship with one of the victims?
Greta Feta was friends with my granddaughter. I saw her a lot. But from the battle, I've seen a lot of things. Do you want to hear about the things I've seen?
Not really.
It was a cold night on the battlefield. Me and my fellow soldiers were huddled around the fire trying to keep warm. Our fingers, our toes all started freezing off. Let me tell you, it got a lot harder to count to 10 after that. Food was rationed. The snow was piling 3 feet high. We wanted to go home, but we couldn't let them win. You know who the enemy was?
No, but I bet you're going to tell me anyway.
It was those Canadians. But not really the Canadians, but what belonged to them.
And what belonged to them?
It was that Canadian bacon. It's an outrage. Canadian bacon isn't bacon, it's just ham. We couldn't let them keep getting away with these lies any longer. The general said to attack. But we weren't ready. Although I don't think we would ever be ready for what came next.
And you're going to tell us what came next.
The Canadians were everywhere, riding in on their moose, swinging their hockey sticks. Good day to you, eh? They were so polite, but you could tell they meant business. Moose to the left, moose to the right. We were cornered, completely out of options. But that wasn't even the worst part.
Please don't tell us the worst part.
The worst part was the maple syrup cannons. Sugary, sticky goodness hitting right in the heart. Technically, there was no physical damage, but the emotional damage weighs me down constantly. To this day, I still can't eat syrup. My pancakes, my waffles, all dry because I can't bear the look, the taste.
Well,
of
this
that.
has been a great story. Why don't
I
we...
let them all down. My platoon. But most of all, the name and dignity of Bacon. Forgive me, Bacon.
You know what? I'm done with her. No further questions, Your Honor.
Would the defense like to cross-examine?
I would, Your Honor. Now, Miss Maniacal, you've seen a lot of things in your life.
Have I ever? I can still hear the battle cries of my platoon. It's just ham. It's just ham.
So you would be able to judge someone's character fairly well, would you not?
I've been around, not so many people. I can sort the good from the bad, the good from the Canadians.
Do I seem like a murderer to you?
No, you seem like a perfectly lovely girl. Wouldn't hurt a fly. I trust you in my platoon.
You've heard it here, folks. This honorable vet says I'm a perfectly lovely girl. Wouldn't hurt a fly. No further questions, Your Honor.
No, you can't do that. There was no evidence. You can't just make claims off of loosely based statements.
You've been doing that this whole time.
Yeah, but that's my thing. You can't do it too.
Well, I'm playing by new rules now.
Does the prosecution have any more witnesses?
We do, Your Honor. The prosecution calls Helen Hushed to the stand.
State your name for the court.
Helen Hush.
Excuse me?
Helen Hush.
Do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Now, Miss Hushed, you were a witness to the murder of Greta Feta, correct? Would you please tell us the account of that night?
Well, I was going along, and then I found the body. And then I didn't.
I'm sorry, what was that?
I was going along, and then I
Ma'am, I'm going to need you to speak up. See, now you just stopped talking altogether. I'm going to need you to speak loudly and clearly.
I was going along, and then I found the body.
Loudly and clearly, ma'am. I'm going to need you to speak up. No further questions.
Would the defense like to cross-examine?
We would, Your Honor. Now, unlike the prosecution here, I have very good hearing, and I'm able to hear what the witness is saying, and I shall articulate it for you. Now, please, tell us again, what happened that night?
Well, I was going along, and then I found the body.
I see you're saying I'm not the murderer,
That is not what she is saying.
that I was nowhere near the scene of the crime,
You're making all of this up.
that I am totally and completely innocent?
Well, I don't know about that.
Look, she just said she doesn't know if you're innocent.
Well, That's not the way I heard it.
She literally just said she doesn't know if you're innocent. Say it again, Miss Hushed. Oh, sure. Now she decides to be quiet.
And now we'll never know. No further questions, Your Honor.
Would the prosecution like to redirect?
Well, if she's gonna testify like that, I guess not.
Does the prosecution have any more witnesses?
We do, Your Honor. We have one more. The prosecution calls Beulah Young to the stand.
State your name for the court.
Beulah Young?
Do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Whoa, wait a minute. This is a child. When I got the witnesses, I didn't know that I would be speaking to a child. I don't know how to talk to kids these days. What are kids like? What's cool? What's hip? Puppies? Video games? 1793 beheading of Marie Antoinette? Oh, I got it. Well, hey there, Beulah. It's your good friend, Bago. We're gonna talk about murder today.
Is that a puppet?
Your good old friend, Bago. Have you seen a murder?
I'm a little too old for puppets.
Oh, so then what do kids like? Sports? Toys? Sustainable farming? Oh, juggling. Everyone loves juggling, right? Yeah.
You could just ask me questions.
I am a master juggler. They called me Jugglers McGee in high school. I did it, right after art. I always wanted to be a juggler on the side while being an artist, but we all know how that turned out now, don't we? Anyway, okay, here I am, back at it again, Juggles McGee. It seemed I'm a bit rusty, but still entertaining, was it not?
Not really.
There's just no getting through to the youth of today, you corrupt generation. No further questions, Your Honor.
Would the defense like to cross-examine?
We would, Your Honor. Now, Miss Young, what do you remember of the night of the murder of Greta Feta?
Not a lot.
Maybe this will help your memory?
Hey, you can't take that, that's my candy.
Let the jury note that the prosecution here is against sharing. Sharing is a quality that a liar would have, someone who would lie about someone else being a murderer. Now, what do you remember, Miss Young?
Well, not a lot. I remember the person who shot her, but I couldn't really make out who it was. But maybe for another piece of candy, I could definitely say it wasn't you.
You got it.
Yeah, now I can definitely say it was not you who shot Greta Feta.
Totally verifying that I did not shoot Greta Feta. Who needs more proof than that? No further questions, Your Honor.
Would the prosecution like to redirect?
Why didn't you say you were motivated by candy?
I don't know, I guess she just knows how to talk to kids these days.
No further questions, Your Honor. I'm just done with her.
Does the prosecution have any more witnesses?
The prosecution rests.
Defense, do you have any witnesses you'd like to call to the stand?
Witnesses? I have to have witnesses. I have to.
You have no witnesses? You're screwed. There's no way you'll win now.
Face it, you're through. Well, we might as well get ready to go home now.
What's that all over your coat?
It's definitely not the blood of Bree Cottage, Pepper Jackson, or Greta Feta from their brutal murders, that's for sure.
Oh, okay, well, as long as it's not blood from any of those.
Call the bailiff to the stand.
What? Like, I have no idea how Pepper Jackson got stabbed like 7 times at 6:48 p.m. on the 23rd.
We never said how many times she was stabbed or at what time.
Casey.
I guess I'm just a really good guesser?
Casey, this man is clearly just someone with a blood-stained jacket who happens to be a really good guesser of murder details. There's nothing suspicious about him.
I want to question him.
Well, I guess you better swear yourself in.
Fine. You swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth? I guess.
Please state your name for the court.
Joseph Slayer?
And your occupation is a bailiff?
Yes, but I also own a restaurant, Sloppy Joe's.
And Mr. Slayer, what type of vehicle do you drive?
Oh, wait, pickup truck.
Oh, same as me, and also same as the murderer. Okay. Well, do you know any of the victims of the murders?
Not personally, no.
Then why did you kill them?
I didn't. Like, I have no idea why someone used a shoelace to strangle Bree Carter to death, and I definitely don't know who drove her body to Little Creek Park on the corner of 4th and Elm.
For someone who is not a murderer, you seem to know a lot about the murders.
You're not going to get me, unless you get a confession out of me. And Mr. Scammon pretty much has this case in the palm of his hands.
It's true. Even though you started to come back there at the end, I've still got it in the bag.
There has to be something, anything.
Face it, Casey, you're through.
Not so fast, Mr. Slayer. How has your restaurant been doing?
Okay, I guess. I admit it's seen its better days. Why?
Do you know the victims of the murders? Their occupations? Bree Cottage, food blogger. Pepper Jackson, a food critic. And Greta Feta, a health inspector. True, you may not have known them personally, but you knew them professionally. And they all had some sort of power to affect your business.
Well, maybe I've gotten a few negative reviews, and maybe our place wasn't the cleanest or most sanitary, but I mean, our food was still good.
Then you wouldn't mind if we try a sample of your food.
What?
Well, I mean, if Bree Cottage, Pepper Jackson, and Greta Feta were all wrong about your restaurant, you wouldn't mind about us all trying your food, would you?
You don't know what you're asking for.
Why not? Why can't we try some?
There's
the food, Slayer.
You want the food? You can't handle the food.
Why can't we try your food? What's wrong with it?
Everything. It's awful. That's why I had to kill him. It was just one bad review after another. Bree was slamming our food in the local paper, and Greta was threatening us to close us down just because of the mold, the flies, and the fact that nothing was ever cleaned. I put so much of my heart and soul in that thing that I couldn't watch it die. I couldn't let my dreams go.
That's a very touching story. But you still committed murder. It's like...
Joseph Slayer, I hereby sentence you to life imprisonment without the possibility of parole. This court's adjourned.
So does it mean I'm free? I'm free?
This means I lost. I've never lost anything. I can't lose, especially not to someone who doesn't even have a lawyer. Oh, this is the second biggest disappointment in my life, right after Dad not letting me go to art school.
Why don't you just go to art school?
What?
Yeah, I mean, you're a grown man and you can make your own decisions. Oh, and those pictures you showed me were, great.
They were pretty great, weren't they? You know what? I am gonna go to art school. And no one can stop me this time. Not even you, Dad. I'm gonna go buy myself a new box of crayons right now.
Well, jury, that was one crazy ride. I was just on my way from New York to Miami, and all of a sudden this happens. There were a lot of objections and not a lot of order in this court, but it all worked out in the end. Oh, all this court stuff has made me famished. Do you know any good local food places to visit? I may know of one where I wouldn't want to go. Yeah.
Thank you for coming and watching.